It was a December morning in Ellington, Connecticut. The sun had barely risen, but the house at 7 Birchview Drive was alive with laughter. 9-year-old RJ and 6-year-old Connor were buzzing with excitement for Christmas. Their mother, Connie Dabate, moved through the house with her usual warmth, preparing for her spinning class, unaware that by the end of the morning, everything would change. Connie's final steps, tracked by a small Fitbit, would become silent witnesses to a crime so calculated it shook the entire community behind the suburban facade of a happy family. Betrayal had been simmering for years, and on December 23, 2015, it exploded. To the outside world, the Dabates seemed ordinary, successful, happy, stable. But beneath it all, Richard Dabate, her quiet, quirky husband, was hiding secrets: an affair, a pregnancy, financial deception that would destroy his wife, their children, and everyone who trusted him. And yet, even amidst hidden betrayal, Connie's light shone bright. Neighbors called her the sunshine of so many lives. She volunteered, delivered meals, organized fundraisers, and loved without limits. It was that very light that made her loss all the more devastating. Connie Dabate was born on July 31, 1976, in Rockville, Connecticut. She was the youngest child of Kenneth and Cindy Margada, and from the moment she arrived, she seemed destined to leave a lasting impression. Her older brother, Keith, remembered vividly the day their father brought him to the hospital to meet his baby sister. A nurse lifted Connie to the window, and in that fleeting moment, she became the family's new center of joy. Growing up in Vernon and Ellington, Connie quickly proved herself to be bright, determined, and full of enthusiasm. Friends and classmates remembered her as someone who threw herself into everything she did, whether academics, sports, or creative projects. She graduated from Ellington High School in 1995, leaving behind a trail of admiration from teachers and peers alike. Her drive didn't stop there. She earned her undergraduate degree from the University of Connecticut in 1999, where she continued to impress with her intelligence and energy, even as a young adult. Connie's friends said she seemed to live life with an infectious joy. She had a way of making everyone around her feel seen, heard, and valued, whether helping a struggling classmate or organizing a community event. She approached every task with sincerity and passion. It was this combination of brilliance and warmth that would later define her both personally and professionally. After university, Connie entered the competitive world of pharmaceutical sales. She worked for several companies, each time proving herself to be a natural leader and a top performer. Eventually, she joined Reckitt Benesson, where she quickly established herself as one of the company's rising stars. By the end of her tenure, she consistently ranked in the top 20% of employees, earning 3 President's Club awards. But Connie's success wasn't just about numbers or accolades. She genuinely cared about the doctors, pharmacists, and patients she served, taking pride in being a reliable and knowledgeable resource. Yet, for all her accomplishments in the professional world, Connie's heart was at home. She had always dreamed of building a family, and in 2003, she met Richard Dabate. Their connection was immediate, a contrast of personalities that somehow complemented one another. Connie was outgoing, vibrant, and nurturing. Richard was reserved, quirky, and technically minded. Together, they created a life filled with love, laughter, and promise. They married on July 4, 2003, in a ceremony attended by family and close friends. Shortly after, they purchased a 4-bedroom colonial in Ellington, settling into a neighborhood where Connie's warmth and kindness quickly became known. Their family grew with the births of their sons, RJ in 2006 and Connor in 2009. For Connie, motherhood became a new arena for the same devotion she had always shown: tireless, loving, and unwavering. When Connor was born with a cleft lip, requiring ongoing medical treatment, Connie became his fiercest advocate. She drove him to Boston for appointments, coordinated his care, and balanced these responsibilities with her own work in caring for her father, who was battling leukemia. Friends described her as the embodiment of selflessness, a woman whose greatest pride and accomplishment was being a devoted mother and a loving family anchor. Connie's professional life was a reflection of her relentless drive and passion. After establishing herself as a top performer in pharmaceutical sales, she became known not just for numbers, but for the relationships she nurtured. Physicians and pharmacists alike respected her, relying on her expertise and dependability. Her LinkedIn profile chronicled her success, consistently in the top 20% of performers, awarded 3 President's Club honors, and praised for her professionalism. But what made Connie stand out was not her resume, was her heart. She approached every interaction with empathy, whether helping a client understand a new medication or offering guidance to a younger colleague. Friends often marveled at how she could balance a demanding career while maintaining her warmth and energy. She didn't just climb the corporate ladder, she lit the way for those around her. Even as she excelled in her career, Connie never let it overshadow her home life. Her true joy came from her family. She married Richard Dabate on a summer day in 2003, bringing together 2 personalities that complemented each other, her outgoing, nurturing nature and his quiet, technical mind. Their marriage, on the surface, seemed ideal. They settled into a comfortable home at 7 Birchview Drive, a colonial-style house worth over $600,000 in today's market. Soon, they welcomed their 2 sons, RJ and Connor, each a testament to their love and devotion. Marriage brought joy, but also challenges, as any couple experiences. Connie and Richard had differences, her warmth versus his reserved, quirky humor, but they seemed manageable. Friends described them as a normal couple, sometimes disagreeing about money or spending, but fundamentally committed to one another. Connie's dedication as a mother became even more apparent when Connor was born with a cleft lip. She drove him to Boston for medical treatments while also caring for her father, battling leukemia. She became his tireless advocate, balancing family and work with grace. Friends and neighbors noticed her energy and generosity. In the neighborhood, she was the sunshine of so many lives, involved in volunteer work, the Ellington Ambulance Corps, and community fundraisers. On the surface, the Dabates seemed to have it all: love, stability, and 2 happy children. Yet, beneath the calm exterior, small cracks began to appear, foreshadowing the tragedy to come. By 2015, those closest to Connie noticed subtle signs of strain. Richard's spending habits had become increasingly concerning. He withdrew funds without discussion, charged visits to strip clubs, and seemed to prioritize his desires over family stability. But what was hidden beneath financial tension was far more damaging: a secret relationship with Sarah Gonza, a woman he had known since junior high. Richard and Sarah had a history of fleeting romantic encounters while he was married. By May 2015, Sarah discovered she was pregnant with Richard's child. Though she never pressured him to leave Connie, Richard made promises of divorce that he never intended to keep. The constant back and forth of assurances, broken promises, and secrecy created mounting pressure on Richard, on Sarah, and unknowingly on Connie. Despite the turbulence, Connie remained unaware. She still sent Richard romantic texts, including one with a lingerie photo, blissfully unaware of the betrayal. Her faith in their marriage and her focus on family made the eventual betrayal all the more catastrophic. The last hours of Connie's life unfolded like a tragic screenplay. At 8:58 a.m., she messaged a psychotherapist about feeling anxious, requesting a hypnosis session. At 8:46 a.m., she left for her spinning class. Fitbit data tracked every step she took, every movement in her Homa device that would later serve as a silent witness to her murder. Meanwhile, Richard claimed he left for work, but digital evidence painted a different picture. Facebook and Google activity from the family computer suggested he remained home, managing the security alarm and monitoring Connie's movements. By 10:05 a.m., the Fitbit recorded her final steps, 1,217 feet of movement, far more than the distance to the basement, where she would later be found. Richard's fabricated story described a masked intruder, demanding money and shooting Connie in the basement. But investigators immediately noticed inconsistencies: no forced entry, no stolen valuables, and canine units unable to track any intruder. The scene was staged, and Richard's behavior appeared rehearsed. He claimed to be a terrified husband, but evidence suggested premeditation. Connie had been shot twice with a .357 Magnum revolver, a weapon never fired before that day. Her final moments, as revealed by Fitbit data, contradicted Richard's timeline, exposing his deception. The investigation was meticulous, leveraging modern technology to uncover the truth. Fitbit data confirmed she was alive for an hour after Richard claimed she was dead. Alarm logs, mobile phone pings, and computer activity further disproved his story. Investigators also uncovered months of internet searches for poison and murder methods, proof that the act was calculated, not impulsive. Every detail, from the alarm system timestamps to Richard's misleading emails, painted a damning picture. Even his affair with Sarah Ganza became crucial evidence, revealing motive and opportunity. Richard's trial began in April 2022. Prosecutors presented over 600 pieces of evidence, with Fitbit and digital records at the center. Sarah's testimony outlined Richard's repeated promises to leave Connie, his pressure from her pregnancy, and the resulting tension that prosecutors argued drove him to murder. Even at sentencing, Richard maintained his innocence, proclaiming his love for Connie. To those who had witnessed the evidence, his words rang hollow. The jury found him guilty on all charges on May 10, 2022. He was sentenced to 65 years in prison. Financial betrayal was also revealed. Connie's estate had been nearly depleted, leaving her sons with just $624. Connie's life, however, cannot be measured solely by tragedy. Her warmth, generosity, and devotion left an enduring mark on her family and community. The community she had served created a college fund for her children, ensuring her legacy lived on. Her Fitbit, a silent witness, helped bring her killer to justice. But Connie's true legacy resides in the hearts of those she touched. Her family, friends, and neighbors remember her not for how she died, but for the light she carried throughout her life. As her family said, "Please don't forget Connie."